So when you're out in nature and the feelings that, the inspiration that comes and you're walking and the openness that, listening to things that aren't necessarily words, but your environment, the intersection of that and then meeting people from all different cultures and walking together is huge. And, and that acceptance, that's kind of amazing. It's very amazing,
Welcome to Cloud Moon, New Beginnings, episode 27. Today, we are speaking with my friend Marianne, who this past spring traveled with a friend of hers, the Camino Portugués. Starting in Porto, Portugal, and finishing in Santiago de Compostela, Spain. She and her friend traveled for 2 weeks, hiking the famed pilgrimage. These days, up to 300,000 pilgrims travel annually along this trail. The Camino was established at the beginning of the 9th century, following the discovery of the relics of St. James, and was a major pilgrimage route of medieval Christianity. Today, people from all walks of life and of various religious beliefs find great reward in joining others on this path.
So what attracted me to do it was the combination of, I like being active, the physicality of it. I feel like it puts me in a certain place where I feel like I'm more aware and I'm earning something, like with every step I'm getting information from the environment and I'm seeing things. So I loved the physicality of that. I loved the history. I loved the cultural element of being in a different culture and what that does to perception. I loved the idea of meeting people from different cultures. And again, the reverence of walking somewhere, of knowing that so many different people have walked throughout time. I found the people that were there walking had a sort of openness or of sharing and kind of of kindness, but I wouldn't say it was just kindness all the time, but just this perception of wanting, of doing the same journey and realizing, oh, okay, this person may need something.
And you automatically have something in common with them.
Yes.
Because everybody intentionally, probably, chose to go on that. And so automatically, no matter where you're from, you have that something in common.
Kind of commonality. It was just such a level of kindness and concern that...
For complete strangers.
Yes. Oh my gosh. People sharing their food with you or sharing, items or sharing this and learning to give and to let go.
Right.
One of the big things is I carry too much. And I don't mind carrying too much usually. Like I like hiking with a lot of stuff, but that was a big thing of having to let go of, okay, letting go of this. And then what you might need will manifest in the next place, because there's like free areas and people just leave stuff. And
so carrying too much was sort of anticipating, it was sort of a protection against anything that might happen, sort of. You were prepared and you had it and you didn't have to be afraid of not having that.
Yeah.
And whereas on the other hand, like you said, it sort of comes up its own if you don't carry it all. And I was, when you were talking about the being on the trail and people helping people, sharing food. I mean, wouldn't that be a great way to live life in general? If we saw the world that way and we were on a pilgrimage, our life is a pilgrimage. What if everybody saw their life as a pilgrimage? Or it's not as long as we think it's going to be, but
there's a saying that everyone has their own Camino and everyone has their own things, because there's a man from Denmark who had nothing, and he just decided, hopped on a plane, and he was chop off he goes.
He had his debit card, right? Or his credit card.
Except though, when the whole Portugal and Spain had the power outage. The credit card, I wonder how he did.
Is that what he was relying on, was credit card?
Yeah. But that was a couple of weeks before, so maybe he was done. He was just powering through. But yeah. So
nobody's going to leave them starving there when they're on the trail.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Like they might leave people starving, like we do leave people starving.
Yeah.
In places that do.
Yeah, we do. And even,
So it's like a safety blanket, really, just to even be on the trail.
It is.
In a certain way.
It is, because you meet a lot of, my experience was you met people who were very kind. And also, even beyond that, if someone was not super, they were very internal and very reserved, there's a respect for that, because everyone has their own journey, and you don't know what their story is. So we were going to do the coastal route, and then we were thinking walking by the coast with the wind and the sand and the rain seemed like a bit much. So there was an area that we could go across into the central route, which we did. And so glad we did that too, because you go through the wine countries. Just the physicality of doing it and having to earn it and being tired or your muscles hurting. And then you're just turning around a bend and you're seeing this view that is just, you don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
You just become very blown away, oh my gosh, this is so.
Right.
So the Aubergés are the church-run hostels.
Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah, so there's hostels in the Aubergés, and I may not be saying that correctly, but it's like this huge, there's only 3 of us in there. But then another German father and son came. And so you get really these subgroups of people, and just beautiful, and seeing the father and son hiking together. Yeah. And then I met another mother and daughter hiking from a country that's Slovakia. The different journeys that everyone is doing along the way, and the friendships. I did find personally that the closer you got to Santiago, the less personal it got, because all the routes kind of converge in, and there's all these different routes for the Camino. There's Camino Francis, Camino Primitive, the Littoral route. There's one that goes from Seville. But it also got to be very busy. And when we first started, you'd see another pilgrim, once in a while, or you'd see, more so some, but at the end, it was just full on.
Right.
And
do some people start closer to the end goal just to do part of it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And there's tours too. And that made it kind of less personal.
Yeah. Just like a city is more impersonal than a small town, right?
Yeah. And it just got really, but there's this big buildup. The church too. So the whole church is where St. James is supposed to, it's just huge. They have masses for the pilgrims, and it's this big center of people and stores. It's just a bit overwhelming.
Right. It's just amazing that you had this experience in 2 weeks.
I know.
2 weeks go by so quickly. And here you've done this with the 2 weeks that you had, right?
It was we would have lunch with some of these people, or wherever in a restaurant. And these people from just so different backgrounds.
Right.
it was just so fun,
It's so lovely. You wish the whole world could be that way. Why not?
you know.
Right?
And but by the time we got to Santiago, we were kind of done hiking for a bit. So what we ended up doing is we ended up taking a bus. They had like a little tour, so we could just sit there. And we went to, so they showed us like all the history sites, and we went to Finisterre, which is like the cliffs. And it's just amazing since you're at the ocean and it's just powerful.
Thank you, Marianne, for sharing your journey with us, and I think you'd be a wonderful guide if I ever decide to go on that trail as well. And thank you for joining us on Cloud Moon New Beginnings, wishing us journeys filled from inner guidance.